Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, man, so having a pretty good day so far. Just nice little Sunday. Getting started a little later than I like to as far as my laundry's concerned. Got it in the dryer right now. It's already like almost 3 o'clock, so I'm pushing as it pertains to what I need to do in order to be on time with Bible study. But I'm walking over to Target, so I realize that I'm gonna run out of breakfast stuff, so that is not acceptable. And something I can do about it, so I'm gonna take care of that right now, and get me a nice little walk in. It's actually almost 2 o'clock. I think I got that wrong. Not almost 3. It's like 1:45, something like that. But I gotta get my clothes out at 2:45. Not necessarily it being that now. So whatever the case may be, man. So I guess some updates on what's going on with the Minnesota situation as far as my best understanding. As far as the gun that they said they pulled off of this guy, from what I understand, it was a picture posted, the exact same picture that the government, from what I understand, posted of the gun that they pulled off of this guy. The exact same photo was posted a week ago in regards to something else. So that right there gave them away. It was said that he had on some type of vest that was government issued, and you could actually see the vest as he's being, going through the tussling and eventually being shot. He had on some type of vest. I don't know what type of, authenticity that information holds, that he had some type of government issued vest, but it's a lot of different things pointing at this not being what it seems, and him not necessarily being just a nice little nurse. He might have had some other stuff going on too. All of that not confirmed, just getting bits and pieces of information that's coming my way. So yeah, rest in peace to him either way. But I speculated yesterday that it may not be what it seems, and more of what it is I'm gathering is showing me that it may not be what it seems. So I really don't know what to think of that situation. But I do know that we all witnessed what we witnessed, and if it was as it seemed, then the rest in peace is due to that guy, man, because they definitely shot him. The question is, who was he, and was it what it seemed as it pertains to what we saw? Whatever the case may be, you're seeing people marching all over the country. I saw photos from what was going on in Boston this morning. Had to be at least 1 million people out there, at least 1 million, talking about they want regime change. And in the event that they don't get it, they're going to throw whatever fit, however that goes. So with that being the case, I just think that we should be seeing some type of change soon. Either that, or they're going to invoke even more. They're going to double down on the chaos. I'm not really sure if that's what they're going to do, but it seems like it. And so I wouldn't expect anything less from this regime. Doubling down on chaos, doubling down on brutality from these ICE agents, federal agents. I also saw something that was piqued my interest yesterday as it pertains to this. Essentially, something was posted that said that basically Trump is asking for Minnesota to turn over their voter books, and if they do so, he'd be willing to pull ICE out of Minnesota. Otherwise, he's going to keep them there and continue on this mission. So essentially, he's using ICE to try to manipulate what is considered to be a blue state. He's trying to get them, basically, he's trying to win these primaries, and he's using ICE as a weapon in that state, causing chaos, doing all this that we're seeing, as a means of trying to get them to give him information on voters, and thus I guess they can manipulate that somehow to ensure that he wins the state of Minnesota. That seems strange on multiple fronts to me, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what I'm seeing there, but it looks pretty weird when you consider we understand that there are a lot of different things that can be accomplished when you decide to do a certain thing. As we said, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or even 3 in a lot of cases. So there's multiple different things that I think Donald Trump could be potentially doing. But I still think that the chaos overall it holds a purpose that doesn't have much to do with partisanship or nothing like that. I think they don't have nothing to do with immigrants or nothing like that either. It's a demonstration of some sort, and I think they're trying to create civil unrest and chaos. I think that's the bigger plan. I think that's really what all of this is about. But from what I understand, that's what he's asked for. All the voter information in Minnesota. And so he's using ICE as a weapon to get that. Which is, I mean, like I said, man, when you look at who's behind him and what they're up to and what they're trying to demonstrate, it's all about divide and conquer. So if this is a double down or a triple down on the red versus blue, then yeah, I think that could be true. I think that could be something that they would be willing to do. I think that, these people go through large lengths to get people to choose a side. They've gone through great lengths, is the word I was looking for, to get people to see is an either or situation. But as I often say, that both sides have proven themselves, both Democrats and Republicans have proven themselves to be puppets for Israel. So is this a situation where one side is trying to vie for who gets to be chosen by Israel to be used as a puppet to control the country? Is that what this is? Or is this really a grandiose demonstration of what should be considered partisan warfare as they continue to pretend like they're not on the same side? Whatever the case may be, I don't trust it. I don't trust none of it. Nothing I see I really trust. Especially when you understand the people behind the people who are doing a lot of this mess. They're obviously not to be trusted. They obviously engage in lies and deception and psychological warfare. And I think that whatever it is that we see that has anything to do with them is probably something that was done in that vein. It's all about psychological warfare. It's all about demonstrating something that's supposed to make us feel something or do something or stumble into some type of mistake or vote a certain way or pay our money into a certain thing. They're trying to funnel people in one direction or another. And they hope that these are the means that they can pull it off. That's what I believe is always going on with these people. Some type of sick psychological game that wraps into the intentions of the Zionist Jew, who wants to bring about some type of chaos so that they can start their holy war and bring about whatever they believe their savior will be. I don't know, man. Bring about some type of Messiah, devilish Messiah that they have. Antichrist essentially is what they're trying to conjure up with whatever it is they're doing right now. That's the end game. Conjure up the Antichrist. I don't know what it is they think is going to happen here with a red heifer calf. I heard that they had bred some red heifer in Israel, a rare red heifer that is used for a specific specific ritual type thing that's supposed to bring about the end of whatever, however it go. I don't know, but that's really what it is that ultimately I've been reading about and hearing about, is that they got some really religious, biblical type stuff that they're trying to bring about. And a lot of what it is that we're seeing is just small steps that are supposed to lead to that greater purpose. Do I agree with what they're doing? Of course not. Of course not. There's no way for a person who has been raised in Christianity to actually agree with what they're doing if you understand what they're doing. Like, that's why that Judeo-Christian thing is just funny to me, because it's like, that's obviously not real Christianity. Those people don't have any interest in aligning with Christians no more than white nationalists who say they're doing things for Jesus Christ and proceed to do evil things have anything to do with Jesus Christ. They don't know Christ. They wouldn't know Christ if you walked up to them and handed them a bag of money. They wouldn't know him. That's the reality of it. They can say whatever they want. Those of us who know Christ know that they don't know him. And so that's what I'm here to tell you. A lot of these people, the ones who are screaming they know Christ the most, reading the scripture to you the most, they don't serve Christ. They serve his enemy. And his enemy is of deception. And that deception comes in this form. They pretend like they love Christ and they proceed to do horrible things. And as I told you guys, man, a lot of this is meant to turn people away from religion, away from God, away from curiosity about something greater than themselves. So if they can do all the worst stuff in the world and represent a religion, maybe that'll turn some people away from even trying to go down that path. That's really one of the main purposes of what the enemy wants his people to do for him, is turn people away from a curiosity about God. No matter what the major religion that they want to choose, no matter what the religion is or what the path would be, just turn them away from any path that leads to them believing in something greater than him. That's really what it is. And if they create enough chaos or create enough deception or create enough angst or whatever, that's what they want to do. If they can create enough instances of what you would consider betrayal, taking something that you would otherwise trust and then making it betray your trust. That's ultimately what they're trying to do. And if we look at enough of this stuff and you apply that to it, it makes a lot of sense. Why do they tell lies that they know you're going to debunk? Why do they do it while pretending to be representing one of your favorite parties or a person who represents some type of religion? It's because they want to turn you away from trusting religion, turn you away from trusting mankind, people that you would otherwise trust. They want you not to trust. They want you not to feel you can trust anybody, so that you will then turn and believe that there's no hope against them and then do whatever it is they tell you to do, and then have to be nice about it. That's what they want to do. Make it so that they don't have to be nice about any of the stuff that they're trying to do. If they can be unapologetic and move and genocide people, unapologetic and cheat people, unapologetic and marginalize people for their differences, unapologetic and sell people pornography and all different types of stuff, that ultimately turns you into an addict of evil. Yeah, that's what they want to do. If they can drive you into a space where you're so despondent about what it is that you've gone through that you just have to have something to ease your mind, thus they can sell you that drug, sell you that alcohol, sell you that practice, whatever it is. Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to turn you away from discipline and towards consumerism and propaganda eating. That's what they want. That's the end goal, so that they can then sell you whatever they want to sell you. You work as hard as you can, pay them all of your money. And that's really what it's about. That's why I have such a problem with this tithing stuff in Christianity. Because it's essentially a practice of the devil, if you ask me. That's all the devil want to do, is have you trust him and then pay him. That's it. Trust me, pay me. Those two things should never go together. They should never go together. If I'm trusting you, then why do you keep demanding every time I see you, you give me some of my hard-earned when you know we out here struggling? You know, people, the average person is struggling hard. And the devil, what he's trying to do in all the things that he controls is get people to slave. So if he can have you work for him and you pay him, then guess what? He's not paying you anything. You're a slave at that point. So I just never agree with that. I understand we got to play our tithes and it's in the Bible, a lot of things this. But at the end of the day, these people have maneuvered and manipulated that ideology in such a way that it's become a situation where a lot of the pastors and a lot of these deities, these people of the cloth, are just as shallow as some of these celebrities and some of these influencers who worship money and worship fame. The only difference is they stand behind Jesus Christ. Well, so does the white nationalist. So too does the person who's committing genocide stand behind what they consider to be God, or what they want you to believe is your God. A lot of people are claiming to do things in the name of God that are no good. That's the essence of deception. That's the essence of the enemy. The enemy ain't going to sit up here and say, I'm the devil. No, he's going to say, I'm of God. That's what he's going to say. He's going to say, you can trust me. He's going to read some of the Bible to you. He's going to read some of the Quran to you. He's going to read some of the Torah to you. That's what he's going to do. He ain't going to act like some red guy with horns on his head. No, he's going to act like a wonderful angel. He wants you to trust him. He's acting in the space of deception. That's what it's about. He ain't going to tell the truth about anything, least of all him. No. It's about getting you to believe something that isn't true, getting you to pay into it, leading you down a path where you believe something that isn't true, and then finding you in whatever mindset that creates for you, feeling betrayed, feeling like you've been used, feeling confused. That's what he wants to create. Confusion, hardship, heartache, betrayal, resentment, all of those different energies, depression, all of that. That's what he wants to create. And so when you're looking for people who are engaging in devilish energy, don't look for people who are being honest. Look for people who are pretending to be trustworthy. Look for people who are trying to control your children. Look for people who want to pour into your entertainment, things that you would trust, things that you go to try to get stress out of your life. That's where the devil's going to hide. He's not going to stand in front of you and say, I'm a bad guy. No, he's going to stand in front of you and say, you can trust me. And so if we start looking at it that way, then we understand that that's where he likes to hide. That's his weapon of choice, is deception and lies and confusion and psychological, demonstrations that are meant to leave you just like distraught and just in disarray. Then we can defend ourselves against this properly. But as long as we're looking for him to stand in front of us and be honest about who he is and what he's about, that's not how he operates. That's not how the devil operates, man. And so when I say I have a hard time trusting the preacher, it's because I know that's where the devil likes to hide. I have a hard time trusting the priest. That's because I know that's where the devil likes to hide. I have a hard time trusting a lot because at the end of the day, a lot of these people, that's where the devil hides, in their hearts and in their intentions and in their minds. And so, yeah, man, that's really what I have to say about that. I'm watching a lot of the confusion created. I'm watching a lot of the people who are supposed to be people we're supposed to trust betray our trust and not do a good job of hiding it. And I don't think they really necessarily want to hide it. They just want to create the confusion that comes from us realizing that we've been betrayed by people we're supposed to be trusting. I think that's what it is. And so this presidency, they're trying to do away with the presidency almost damn near. Like the guy who's sitting in the seat, he's trying to turn himself into a king. The people behind him on some religious nonsense. It gets to a point where it's like, yo, what drives a lot of what we're seeing is people trying to hide things that they've done years ago that other people know about that they can use against them. People having shallow ideas about what the world should be and trying to push forth those ideas on the others. People trying to push the world into a corner so they can have it be the majority of what it is that they want to see, while the rest of the people just sitting somewhere in Antarctica or something. That's kind of what they want to do. Make it so that America only has Jews. That's really what it is. They want this land, especially these beautiful places with all this wonderful weather. They don't want it to be melting pots full of people of color. They do not want that. They want these lands here. They want any land that harbors great weather, places where you can grow things, vast amounts of space, paradise. They want all of that. They want all of it. And most importantly, they want people to look like me off of it. That's what I know. And it makes sense, because there's only a few places on this earth that actually harbor great weather. It's only a few places on this earth that look like a paradise. There's only a few places on this earth that have as much advanced industrial space from which to build upon, from which to grow things, from which to, put down whatever technology is to come. It's only so many places on this earth you can have that. And I think, it's just interesting to me. I'm looking at so many different things. I'm learning about Antarctica and what could have potentially been there years ago. I'm learning about, people like Peter Thiel and what they're trying to do with the world right now, and where they're trying to send America, and different things. And I'm telling you, man, at the end of the day, it just boils down to the devil wanting to control things and using people to do it. The devil wanting to control things, using people to do it. The devil wanting to push people in certain directions, just like the people he controls want to push people in certain directions. And when I speak of Antarctica, I think about if that were a land that could be inhabited, they would want that. If that wasn't filled with ice, if it didn't have what it has going on, if it was a place that was dry and it happened to have people of color living there, worshiping God, believe me, they would be coming there, pushing forth all the different stuff that they're pushing into the Middle East, pushing over here and all of that. Believe me, man, there's no place on this earth that people of color can worship God without having people like that wanting to basically kill them. I'm just being honest with you. That's what I know. It's what has been proven over the course of 1,000 years, man. No matter what's going on, they're always going to want that. And to a point, I get it. But God is real. And just because you pretend he isn't, doesn't necessarily mean that he's sitting back letting you control things forever. You may control things for now, but eventually you're going to have to get back what you've taken. You're going to have to take on the karma for what it is you've done. You're going to have to answer the bell for all the different things that you're doing. You're going to have to go see him. And you can worship your whatever, however it goes. But at the end of the day, when it's all over with, you're going to know the truth. And all you're going to be faced with is what it is that you chose to do. And his wrath, man. And it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. That's what I know. From knowing him, it is not pretty. I've seen his wrath. I've seen what he does when he's unhappy with me specifically. I end up paying for stuff. And I understand that that's what it is for everybody who ever lives. We all have to answer the bell for all the stuff that we choose to do. And you're not hiding nothing from him, even if they're hiding something from you. That's what I know. That is what I know. And just because there are a lot of people who want to control things that either worship the enemy or are spiritually unwell or bankrupt or don't believe in nothing but money, all of that it holds only so much weight in the grand scheme of things. Only but so much weight, man. Because at the end of the day, we're only here for but some time. Some of us get to live to about 100, so others live to 45, whatever it's going to be. You're only here for a short amount of time, man. A lot of people are doing things that are meant to last for 200 years, 300 years. You ain't going to be able to see none of it. And it's no guarantee that all of what it is you're sacrificing for, especially if it means to harm others, is going to actually take place. And if it does last, how long of a shelf life do you think it has? All these bad intentions that people have, they're supposed to last 200 years, 300 years. You're assuming God doesn't exist. Or you're assuming the deity that you serve is going to do something against him. And a lot of these people serve the enemy. They think they have a chance at winning whatever this war is. They don't. That's the reality of it. You don't win. You lose. The devil is a loser. And all of the different things that he has control over has an expiration date and a self-destructive button attached to it. So that's what I want to say to people, man. Whether you're of great knowledge or no, but only small amounts of information, it does boil down to good and evil a lot of the time. It does boil down to being willing to sacrifice, willing to set aside your ego, and doing good deeds. You know, and wanting more for others. You know what I mean? Than maybe even more for yourself in a lot of cases. And I don't think that a lot of people have proven that they're strong enough to be that. I don't think a lot of people have proven that they have enough trust in their heart to just let go and let God in those areas. And the world's the worst place because of them. That's just what it is, man. The world is the worst place because of cowards. The world is the worst place because of compromised people. The world is the worst place because of people who don't respect anything but themselves and people that look like them. The world's the worst place for people that want worse for others. The world's the worst place for shallow individuals who only worship money. You know? We need less of that, honestly. We really do, man. And I'm willing to bet that God is trying to coerce the world into a space where they learn that lesson in a real way. Something that came to mind that doesn't relate to what I'm talking about that I wanted to say too. That I've been kind of just paying attention to certain things. So you talk about the cross. Obviously, Jesus was placed on the cross and ended up losing his life on the cross. And a lot of us walk around and we wear the cross, or we put it in our homes, or we pray about, around the cross or to the cross, the crucifix, and all of those different things, right? Well, there's a certain display that I think mocks that's going on in modern times, and I'm noticing it. When I look at what's going on with what was described this morning on the Joe Budden podcast, something I wasn't aware of that Nike did with LeBron's latest shoe, King shoes. They essentially took the colors from the hotel that Martin Luther King was shot at and made it the colorway for the shoe. That's one example of what it is that I'm trying to bring together. Another example is when Charlie Kirk was shot. He was obviously shot underneath a tent. In the latest, I guess it was the latest thing that TPUSA did, they recreated the tent for regular civilians to come underneath and take pictures under the tent. That's exhibit number 2. I just think that we're in a space right now where I'm starting to pick the pieces up from these various different examples. And I'm saying, is it just me, or does it look like they're mocking the faithful's devotion to the cross? Because when you try to put a positive light on a item or a colorway or something that is created in the image of a space from which someone was murdered, doesn't it seem like those instances are kind of mocking our devotion to the cross as Christians? Doesn't it seem to me like they're trying to dog whistle to either us, or give the finger to Christ, or just overall just speak light of the fact that we are devoted to that for which is a representation of the thing that our Christ had passed away on? It's very interesting to me how I'm seeing that in those two situations, and I know who's behind both of them. I know who's behind TPUSA. That part is already clear. I know who's behind Nike. That part is already clear. And we know what they think of Christianity. We know. They hide in the shadows, controlling our government, killing people in Palestine. We know who you are. We know you control who you control. We know that you control them because of how they move when controlled by you. And so I say to you, while you're trying to take a good portion of Western world Christianity and have it align with you, you also understand some of us Christians understand that language that you're speaking when you do things like this. I know what you're doing. The Lord wired me properly to be able to be the guy that hears that whistle. I'm on that frequency. I know you're doing that. And I just want to say that. I just wanted to put that out there because I want them to understand that I read that very clearly. I know what you're doing. You're mocking Christianity's devotion to the image of the cross. And you're mocking and saying, look how ridiculous they are. I wonder if they will be ridiculous in these same areas as well. That man died in a tent. Let's recreate the tent and make it a positive. Martin Luther King was shot in this hotel. Okay, let's recreate that and then put it in LeBron's King James shoe, King James Bible. By the way, LeBron, you need to understand how they've been manipulating your image to do this dog whistling the entire time, all 23 years. They've been messing with you, bro. They've been giving the finger to God in a million different ways using your brand to do it, LeBron. You need to know that. King James Bible, Martin Luther King shoes, King James. Come on, man. Not all money's good money, sir. Not all money's good money. And I know that they've been grooming you for a long time to be aligned with what they're doing, but I also know that you ain't that. What they want you to be, you're not that. I know that. I already know that. So I just wanted to say this, man. Some of this stuff is like, yo, they're playing in our faces, but they're not doing it because they're stupid. They're doing it because they want a certain reaction. And they're hoping that we'll be dumb enough to give it to them. Everything that's going on in Minnesota, same thing. Everything that's going on in Palestine, how they handle it, same thing. They want a certain reaction. And if you, as I said yesterday, if you play into that reaction and you play into their hands, and if you react in a different way, a more godly way, whatever that looks like in your life, then you're going to frustrate the enemy the same way he's trying to frustrate you with all this different stuff he's doing. And so that's what I want to say, man. It's two things we got to stop doing. Stop paying him and stop paying him any mind. And that's what I say to all of y'all. Stop paying the enemy your money and stop paying the enemy your mind.
I literally don't want to see
Stop. That's what I tell y'all, man. Unlearn whatever you need to unlearn to assure that you have liberation from that enemy. Because that enemy, it's going to continue to play in your face. It's going to continue to lie. Those lies are going to be 1 degree of separation from the truth. And you're going to be sitting there saying, why'd he tell me a lie that I could just simply Google? And he's going to be sitting there laughing at you. As you find yourself confused at how he's playing with your head, that's exactly what he's doing. He's playing with your head. You didn't believe your lying eyes. That's what he keeps on telling you. You didn't see what you saw. That's what he keeps on selling you. And I'm telling y'all, man, north is still north. 2 + 2 still equals 4. You understand what I'm saying? Gravity still pulls down. They can manipulate whatever it is they control. They can't change the reality of things. They can manipulate the words. You know what I'm saying? Change the definition of words on you and make it sound like you're something you're not, because they control the definitions. All that deception is just that. It's false. They can get 1 million people to agree with them, all of them compromised by one way or another. And that is still going to be falsehood. That's why I tell you, don't follow the crowd on everything, because sometimes you don't really know what's moving the crowd in a certain direction. If they compromise 100,000 people, you can find yourself in a space where you're agreeing because of the presence of 100,000 people agreeing. What you don't realize is the only thing that's keeping them agreeing is their guilt. You need to follow what you know you should, because sometimes you don't know what made all those people come together to agree. Sometimes it ain't what it seems. And in this environment, that is exactly what's going on. Entire governments clapping for genocidal maniacs. Why? Because they're probably being blackmailed to do so. Not just paid, blackmailed. See, a person who's made money can grow a conscience and change their mind, but a person who's trying to keep a secret quiet, they're going to shut their mouth. They can have a conscience all they want, but they don't want what comes from their stuff being exposed. It's a combination of both. They're paying people and they're getting in them hard drives and they're grabbing stuff from people and finding out them secrets and all these different things. And they're holding all of it over their head. So you can take this money and keep your secrets quiet, or you can come out and tell the truth and then we expose everything you did. This is what they're doing to your government. This is what they're doing. So when you see people on TV telling you not to believe your lying eyes, well, you know damn well that's a bad PR move. Or when you see a celebrity come out and betray everything she ever stood for and alienate a good portion of her fan base so that she can align with TPUSA, Nicki Minaj. Don't think I don't know what's going on there. Don't act like you don't know what's going on there. That's what I'm saying to people, man. They're playing dirty. They get engaged in deception just like that of who they serve. They want to control everything because they're afraid of a world where they don't. For a million different reasons, man. And they're going to try to make it absolutely and utterly illegal. Damn near blasphemous for you to tell the truth about them. And it's not because of any other reason than they are at war with reality. They're at war with the truth. And they're at war with God, man. And it's a dangerous world for all of us, but especially for those who don't believe in Him. Especially for those who don't believe in Him. Because you're not going to see it coming. That's the reality. So that's what I want to say, man. Have that relationship with God. Trust that relationship with God between you and God. Because the preacher man may be compromising this way. The parties that you vote toward going to be compromising this way. Doctors, lawyers may be compromised in this way. Celebrities, all of them potentially compromised in this way, man. You can trust yourself, though, when you feel in your heart something's right or something's wrong. And remember the analogy I gave you with the 120,000 compromised individuals. Don't follow the pack. If you know you shouldn't do it, don't do it. If you know it ain't right, don't follow them. Think of the analogy of the lemmings. If you ever heard of lemmings, essentially these rodent-like figures that all fall to their doom off a cliff together. Millions of them, all at once. Don't be a lemming. Don't fall to your death. If you know people going off a cliff, don't go off there with them. If you know they're comfortable with genocide and all agree to do it, don't sit back quiet, because at the end of the day, they're headed off a cliff. See what I'm saying? That's why I stand on my own, say what I need to say. I don't care what people think, because I know that what I'm doing is going to, one, please God, and two, liberate people from being lemmings falling off a damn cliff. And of course, the consensus in the times I'm living on tell you I'm doing wrong. Of course, they all agree. Compromised as they are, confused as they are, lost as they are, unmotivated as they may be. To tell the truth and stand alone and be strong in that regard, man. Peer pressure is strong, man. I get that. You don't want to be outcasted. You don't want to be alone. You don't want people to look at you like you're weird or look at you like you don't have it together. But guess what? If we're all in a space where the norms that we have is having it so that we're doing things the wrong way, going off a cliff, then maybe it's those who are standing alone get to survive all of this. Maybe it's those who are all agreeing and all aligned comfortably in their social spaces that are all going to go off the cliff. And if the object of the game is to survive and create a legacy that's lasting, then you certainly can't be going off a cliff too soon, now can you? Not with all of them. Who's going to be left to tell the story? You see what I'm saying? I can't follow y'all down that path. I can't follow you down the path of worshiping these guys who control these things, who are also doing that thing over there that I can't get with. No, I can't get with it. I don't need nothing they have. Everything they have is cursed. I believe in God, remember? So any contract they want to hand me is cursed. Any platform they want to place me on, it's cursed. They're doing evil things, man. There's a such thing as karma. You can't hurt children. Just because it's not over here and you're doing over in the Middle East doesn't mean that it's anything less. Just because you created some narrative with some rhetoric doesn't mean it's aligned with anything that's actual. You might be hiding from man, but you ain't hiding from God. Gravity still pulls down, friend. And I see that. My true north is straight, right? Straight ahead. I ain't waiting for nobody's cosign, nothing like that. I got God's cosign. That's the point. Waiting for other people to tell me it's okay to speak while they're doing things that is not okay at all. Are you kidding me? No, I know right from wrong. They're doing wrong. They're not going to be able to make it right. But you can't go off a cliff with them, trying to align with them in fear of them. Where's your fear for God? While you fearing what they doing, where's your fear for God? You think God is just French toast over here? Like, he just, you know what I'm saying? While you worried about the power of man, what you think, God is just somewhere cowering in a corner scared or something? What you think he doing? That's the point. It's like, I'm not afraid of man. Man can't control what's coming his way. Even if he controls the skies with his his new way of doing things. Even if he's figured out a certain point in science to where he can do this or that. That's cool, bro. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things he hasn't discovered. And in those spaces of lack of discovery comes a wisdom he doesn't have, comes a know-how that he does not have, for which he needs in order to defeat God. He can't defeat him. God is in the furthest star that you have yet to reach. He's in the furthest spots of the ocean that you have yet to get to. He's underneath all that ice in Antarctica. There are things you haven't figured out yet. And because of that, man, I tell you, I'm not following you. I will not follow you. You don't know everything you need to know. You're mistaken about a lot of the things you're doing. You're intelligent, but you're not nearly as smart as you need to be to defeat God. And so if you tell me I can't speak the truth to what it is you're doing in the Middle East, I tell you God told me not to harm his children. You're disobeying him. He knows more than you. I'm supposed to be following you. I'm afraid what you can do to me. But we're all mortal. See, that logic don't add up to me either, because it's like, if you told me that so long as I obey you, I can be immortal, that's cool. But you're trying to tell me that I risk my life every time I get in a car, every time I get on a plane, every time I eat some bad foods from one of y'all companies that y'all trying to sell me? I'm risking my life every time I walk down the street in the wrong neighborhood. I risk my life every time I decide I want to play a sport and it land wrong. I can fall on my neck. There's a million different ways I can lose my life. And that I will is certain. So why am I afraid of someone who is disobeying God, doing things that are just detrimental to so many innocent people, when in doing so I'm still guaranteed death? It's not like if I follow these people I'm going to survive forever, and that the only way I would perish is if I betray them. That is not the truth. You're going to die anyway. Why am I going to spend a limited, fleeting life doing things that's going to anger God in the name of human beings who don't understand everything they need to understand to defeat him? That is common sense, and yet it's so uncommon because we're too busy nestled in spaces where people agree with one another. We have to agree. What if I'm outcasted for not aligning with them? Them people are killing people in the Middle East for no reason other than they just don't like them. Other than the fact that it says something in their book that they can do things to these people, and that makes them feel strong if they follow it. Man, I'm not following them. No, I can't follow them. They don't have any real devotion. They got to blackmail people to get them to follow them. They got to deceive people in order to get them to follow them. The genuine nature of what they have going on is deplorable. Why am I following them? Because I want to get along with you off a cliff like a limit? No, I'm not doing it. No. God didn't give me that much time, and I don't know how I'm going to die. So the last thing I'm going to do is fear dying at the hands of the enemy any more than I fear dying at the hands of a bad sandwich that could cause me heart problems. I'm not afraid of either, really. I ate the sandwich. I speak the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? It's literally the truth. That's the logic the Lord put in my heart today. I hope you guys are listening. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. It's in a good place. I don't have all the answers. I'm not some special deity. I've made mistakes. I battle with the flesh. I battle with poor culture. All of that is just like, you know what I'm saying? The last thing you need is to have somebody tell you that they're perfect. Absolutely not. You know, we're all a couple tragedies away from doing irrational, evil things if we allow ourselves to become that way in the face of those tragedies. You understand what I'm saying? I get it. We're all one convincing manipulation away from following people down a path we have no business going. I get it. That's why your relationship with God is so important, man, because you can keep your eyes fixed on Him so that you're not paying attention to the things that are meant to distract you and meant to have you going off a cliff like a lemming. So you don't follow those cluster of peoples down a path of destruction. So you don't follow those people over there toward a path of fearing them more than you fear God, as if he's in a corner somewhere scared. Like, no, fam, it's not how that works. He's planning, he's creating. While the devil is doing whatever he's doing, God is creating something better and better and better. I'm going to align with him. He said, be kind to people. He said, be kind to children. He said, discipline yourself against things that'll make it so that you're hurting people. Discipline against that of which is in your ego that'll make it so that you are unfair to people and selfish with people. Now, I'm going to try to do those things. I'm rolling with him. He kind of know more than the rest of these people do. He kind of know more than those ruling powers that value money and a relationship with the devil. You understand what I'm saying? They value the wrong things, man. They're mistaken. And all their calculations, they have a little too much ego attached to what it is they figured out. And not enough respect for that for which they have yet to. That's the point. They don't know nothing. But they have control over today. They got control over society today. They got a hand in a bag of money today. And since we're all so morbid as to respect money over respecting morals and God and principle, we're obviously going to respect those who hold the money. What if I told you the people who betrayed all principle and are destined to dwell in spaces that God has reserved for bad people are the people with all the money? And you're going to war with God in limited time that you have in life? Following some people that are destined to be tormented for the rest of eternity? You ain't going to be here that long. Why would you risk eternity? Why would you risk eternity? And you're only going to be here for 75, 80, 100, whatever years you got. You're going to risk eternity? Man, please, man, I ain't letting none of these people trick me out of my eternity. Absolutely not. I'm not letting none of y'all going to trick me out of my eternity. That's why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking right now. I'm not letting the powers of man trick me out of my chance at heaven, or at least purgatory. You understand what I'm saying? God forbid, but at least purgatory. For the sins I've already committed, hey man, don't send me to hell. Send me to the waiting room if that's what it's going to be, but do not send me to hell, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'll stand outside the gates and stand guard if that's the case. If I can't get in, let me stand guard. Don't send me down there with the enemy. Leave me in a space where I can't defend myself. No. Not for something I did in just a limited time on earth. My little 80 years, whatever I'm going to get. Nah. That's bad math, friends. That's terrible math. So that's what I'm telling y'all, man. Powers that be right now, they're calculating things wrong. They trust what it is they think they have control over a little too much. They believe their own lies. Smell their upper lip, as my mama used to say. And now they're in a space where they think they can control everything and control everyone and punish people who don't align with them and all of the different stuff. And I'm telling you, man, ain't nothing but a bunch of lemmings go off the cliff at war with God who can, at the snap of a finger, get them out of here. I'm rolling with that entity. That's the power that I think all of us would be wise to get to know and be fearful of. Not them. Not them who are at war with innocent people who don't have anything in a lot of cases. Obviously, if their calculations were any good, they wouldn't be waging war against poor children. Think about that. Give that some real thought. They're trying to sell you the idea that poor people in places that they control are their worst enemy. That people who are throwing sticks and stones are somehow a mortal threat to them who control a good portion of what it is you see on earth today. If not for the influence of something wicked, how can I not see that entity is absolutely no threat to you? You got control of the entire government in this country, certain governments in South America, certain governments in Europe, certain factions in Africa. And you're trying to tell me that those people down the street who you've had your hands on and your feet on for 75 years are your greatest mortal threat? Make it make sense. If not for my fear for you, why would I believe anything you say under those circumstances? Why would I believe anything that comes out of your mouth? Not to mention that everywhere you look, you can see one of their lies being easily debunked. But a lot of us are so compromised and respect power, manpower, so much that we will follow those individuals wherever they take us and ignore God like he's sitting in a corner somewhere scared of them or something. You can't make it make any sense. Not if you can think for yourself. You can't make that math make any sense, man. No way. No way. And that's without seeing all the things that I've seen over the last 2 years. You see what I'm saying? That's just looking at it for what it's worth with the understanding of the history. Then you add to the fact all the trauma that they put all of us through who've watched that genocide like I did. They take into account that. All the kids. You see what I'm saying? Like all of them. You have any idea how many kids I've seen in that regard? Thousands. And I'm just one man. That's the sad part. Many people who are alive today have seen what I've seen and more. Telling you the same thing I'm telling you. Like, nah, man, they are not to be yielded to. I don't care how they change they can change the weather, they can change the laws, it can control the media, they can control everything. I'm still not following them anywhere. They are untrustworthy, they're mistaken, they're doing a lot of things the wrong way. They're toying with God, they're aligning with the enemy, and they're doing it in a weird way. I'm not following them. They're enacting pain and suffering, psychological warfare on the innocent. I am not at all yielding to anything they're talking about. I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth about them. And I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. Because wherever I find myself following God in regards to them is a lot better spaces than I'm going to find myself following them in opposition to God. I can promise you that. I'm not saying it's going to work out for everybody who bucks them as it pertains to your life. I'm not saying that you ain't going to go through a lot of suffering for bucking them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when it all boils down to it, you would rather be on God's side than theirs. I can guarantee you that. For the things that they've done and the wrath that he has pointed at them for doing it. You do not want to have lived your life saying that you were afraid of them, so therefore you disobeyed him. I can promise you that. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they promise. I don't care how many demonstrations of psychological horror that they place in front of you. It is a very small fraction to the creativity of the one who created you. Do not go against him for them. Understand that somebody told you. Somebody. If you saw me here or if you heard me say this because you were in this place right here, hear me clearly. Do not follow those people. They are mistaken, amongst other things, but very mistaken. God is real, and he's really unhappy with them. Bdf 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.